And then
So, yes, welcome to Teach Hour Tea. I'm your host, Miss T. Before we get into it, I want to give a preference on what's going on. So, basically, I have yet to hear this, but I've heard about it or I've been hearing about it all over social media, YouTube, TikTok. That's where this originated from, blah, 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 blah. So, there's a young lady, and apparently she met this guy on a dating site, which is oops, I don't really agree, but if you choose to do that, it's your choice, but just be safe, okay? This, that, and the third. Moving on from there, so let's get into what she has to say. And, I mean, driving 4 hours, I would say, oh, girl, like, girl, why? Does it sounds like you're desperate. But then again, we don't know the whole story. So let's get into why she did it, what went on, what was her experience. I want to know. And this is my first time hearing this, so you're getting my first reaction to this situation. Okay, so let's get into
like a
it.
4 hour so that hopefully someone else doesn't have to learn like the hard way like I did. But so, I meet this guy on a dating app and we were getting along really well. We eventually like moved off the app and I shared my phone number and we were talking every day for like at least a week. And so he had talked about like coming to see me. So he lived in Houston, which was like 4 hours away from me. So it was like a little bit of like an arrangement, like planning needing to be made, right? And so he plans to come see me, and then like right before the trip, he says like his car broke down and it's in the shop. And so he didn't know when it would be fixed. So I was like, oh, that's fine. Like maybe I can come to you, right? Because we were.
Stop right there. Stop right there. So his car's in the shop all of a sudden, and he doesn't know when he's going to get it fixed. And now, so the burden, and then you volunteer to go see him. I don't know, sis. I don't know. You don't know him from Adam. This sounds like this is the first time you're in a dating site. You have kicked it off, but this is the first time meeting him, and now you're gonna drive 4 hours. I don't know. I feel like maybe you should wait or waited until he got his car fixed, and then maybe meet him halfway. But to each his own. To each his own.
He didn't know when it would be fixed. So I was like, oh, that's fine. Like, maybe I can come to you, right? Because we were getting along really well. Mm-hmm. And he was like, I would love it if you could do that. So at first I was like, do I really want to drive to like meet this guy? Like, is that a little bit weird? Do I look, thirsty or some type of way going to go meet him? But I also wanted to be understanding because I do understand like things happen. Mm-hmm, and it just so happened to be like a weekend where we were both going to be free. And I was working like 7 days a week, guys. So like having that weekend free, like was like my window. So, it's like Friday and I'm like, I can just go see him. I pack up my car. I head to Houston and it's like a 4 hour drive there, right? I'm about an hour away and I call him and I'm like, hey, like surprise. Like I'm about to be in your city.
Stop right there. Ma'am, did you, oh, okay, hold on. Let me get this straight. Are you telling me you didn't tell the dude that you was coming and you jumped in your car on a 4 hour drive using your good gas on your good day off and you didn't tell him? I mean, is that okay? That right there is a whole nother thing in itself. Why? Why would you do that? That's kind of rude to him and an inconvenience for him and for you. Okay, girl. Let's continue.
Point to Houston and it's like a 4 hour drive there, right? I'm about an hour away and I call him and I'm like, hey, like surprise. Like I'm about to be in your city. And at first he was like really excited. He was like, oh my gosh, like, thanks for coming all this way for me. He asked me like where I was going to be staying and I was like, I'm not sure yet. Like I'm calling all the hotels in the area to try and get a room for tonight. And so he's like, oh, you can just stay with me. Well, I didn't feel comfortable staying with him because I like didn't know him.
Okay, good.
And so I was like, no, it's okay. Like I'll get a hotel. I'm just like struggling right now because I've been trying to call for the last 30 minutes and all of them are booked because of the marathon was that weekend in town. So I'm like, let me just keep trying and then I'll call you. So another 30 minutes goes by and I still do not have a hotel for the night. And at this point, it's like 10 p.m.
What?
So I call him again and I'm like, hey, like I'm still looking for a hotel. Like I have not been able to get one. He gets so angry. He starts yelling at the like top of his lungs. Like
I'm trying not to keep stopping. Girl, bye. Wait, stop. So many red flags. Stop, 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 stop. He starts yelling at you because of what? Because you can't find a hotel. You can't even see his behind. And you can first of all, well, the fact that you told him at the last minute is a thing. But then you tell him and then he's expecting you and then you can't find a hotel. He starts yelling at you. Those are red flags all over the place. All over the place. And this was not planned out. So that's a whole nother thing in itself.
Oh, because fine, like I'll keep looking even if I have to go like outside of the main city where he was staying to like get a hotel, right? I was thinking it's like no big deal. Definitely not worth like going on a huge yelling rant for. And I think that just kind of like freaked me out because I kept trying to like speak in like a quieter, like calming tone to like see if he would come down. And then he didn't. He just like kept getting more angry. And so I was like, okay, yeah, like this isn't a character trait that I am particularly like attracted to, because if you're like having a disagreement and you're not able to regulate your emotions from like up here to here, that kind of scares me a little bit. So I was like, ooh, like I said, you know what? It's okay. Like, don't worry about it. And so I call around. I get a hotel within the next like 10 to 15 minutes, but I ended up having to pay like a hefty price. Like I think that hotel was like $350 for the night because it was the marathon was happening. And so I was like, out. But at the same time, like, you know, it was what was available. So I did it. Well, I was so turned off by the yelling at me, so I didn't call him again after that. I stayed at that hotel for the night. The next day, I went and had like a really nice lunch. So I had like a luxury bath at the hotel. I treated myself to like a fancy lunch before driving all the way back another 4 hours. And so like it was just a lesson learned. Like for me personally, do not make the drive to go see a guy for the first time. And if you do, definitely do not drive 4 hours, you know, like.
Okay, here's the thing. There's a whole lot of things. A whole lot of things here. First of all, it's not even, I don't know about the driving the 4 hours. I mean, I wouldn't do it, but the thing of it is, you did all of these things and he made no effort. In fact, all he did was yell and scream at you on the phone. That's all he did. So you technically didn't really know this person. You said you knew him, but you said you guys were getting along, but you didn't really know him. So that's crazy. And then it wasn't prepared. You weren't. It didn't sound like it was a planned situation. It wasn't planned out. You hadn't booked your room. You didn't know where you're gonna stay. Some of that type of stuff is just playing on adulting. That's all that is. I don't know what was going on with that. But then you turn around, you spend all this gas. Then you got to get a room. That room is overpriced, inflated price, $300. Da da da. But I will say, at least you treated yourself and took care of yourself and enjoyed the room. You needed to enjoy the room, okay? At that price, you needed to, okay? There's that. And then it sounds like you got into it. You don't want to talk to him anymore. You turn around and went all the way back home. Yeah, I don't know. But the fact that you met him on a dating site already turns me off. But then, not even that, you drove. So my suggestion was, if you're going to do something like this, because even trying to date people long distance is already difficult in itself. It's a hard thing. You can ask most people, it's very hard to do that. It's not saying it's impossible, but it's hard to do. But my suggestion going forward is to, maybe wait until he got his car fixed and met him halfway out in public. Planned it accordingly, had your room booked. Maybe he could have helped pay for some of the hotel, maybe half of the hotel fees, half of your gas, or something to that effect, something like that. But just take the whole grunt, this, that, and the third. We have to stop being so nice and start being real and good to ourselves and do things that make sense. It's one thing to be nice, and it's another thing to be foolish and of the nature. But that's not really judgment. I'm knocking you. I know you're out here in this dating scene, trying to get it where you live and trying to figure things out like the rest of us. But yeah, sounds like she learned her lesson. But this was a very it could be more expensive. It could have been more expensive than what it was, but kind of expensive lesson. And she still didn't get to see him. She sounded like she still didn't get to see him in person, and he wasn't worth seeing. He wasn't worth seeing. And another piece of this. Was his car really, really down? Or was he just giving you the excuse that his car was down and he really had other plans and he didn't really want to see you? Those are different things you need to think about, right? Was he really just blowing you off and then you turned around and surprise? Oh, no, ma'am. No, ma'am. It could have been he just didn't want to see you. He could be he had another woman, or for whatever he had going on. Something happened. It could have been more than just a car. It could have just been an excuse. Is my point. So all that driving, no. So the question to the answer to the question is I would definitely wouldn't have I've not gotten in the car and driven 4 hours without. No, I wouldn't have driven 4 hours. Nope. Maybe two to meet him halfway. Okay. Make sure you're just do things that make sense. But I think she learned her lesson, and good for her for sharing, being brave enough to share her story. And good luck on your dating. And again, it's not easy out here in the dating scene, so there's that. Anyway, I thought I'd give my 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cents on the issue, me being a more seasoned woman. But here's the deal. People, please be careful if you're using these dating sites and meeting new people. Background checks, do background checks and plan. And this type of thing, I don't know about all this popping up and all this kind of stuff. I don't know about this type of thing. I wouldn't do this type of thing. But just be careful, okay? Thanks for listening. As I always say, we can't change anyone else. Only can change yourself. Focus on the things you can control and not on things you can't. I'll be back with another. Thank you and goodbye.
Yelling at me, so I didn't call